Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Mystical Vision. So, today I wanted to do a reading about what has changed during this eclipse window. Because, in case you haven't noticed, over the last couple of weeks, we've gone through not one but two separate eclipses, and you may have noticed that things have been a little wild. They've been a little wild for me. So I feel like for me personally, eclipses are usually a time of big change, of recognizing patterns in our life that no longer serve us, and also things that may have been obscured from our vision. Wonderful stuff, of course. But today I thought we could do a reading about what this eclipse window has changed for you, what you can look forward to, and also some advice on what sort of energies you can embody to make this transition to your new self a lot smoother. So, of course, as always, I have three different piles for you to pick from. For pile one, we have a garnet stone. Pile two, we have a sodalite crystal. And for pile number three, we have a jade. So, of course, I'll give you guys some time with these three piles. Go ahead and pick one that seems to resonate with you most. Timestamps for every group is down in the description. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. It really helps out a lot. And without much further ado, I'll see you at your pile. Pile number one, hello. If you picked this garnet stone, then welcome to your reading about what's changing due to this eclipse window. Wow, I just had a moment of brain fog. So we'll get to your oracle cards towards the end, but the way I've structured it is these first two cards are going to tell us what has changed. These two cards are going to tell us why this change has happened, and then these four cards, there's two cards and two clarifiers, are going to tell us what you can look forward to now that this change has occurred in your life. So, all right, what has changed in my pile number one's life due to this eclipse window? We have the Three of Coins. And to clarify that, we have the Devil. Okay, interesting. All right, so straight away, I'm kind of seeing a message of work collaborations of some sort, where you might find that during this eclipse window, or a couple weeks before and after, you may have become aware of some collaboration contracts, some potentially unfair contracts that you had been expected to sign or you've been working under. You may have noticed that, for instance, if, say, you work in a company that employs a lot of people, you might notice that someone else doing the same job as you might be getting paid more or less, things like that. Because the Devil talks about, well, potentially also things like addiction, hedonism, that kind of thing. But with the Three of Pentacles here, which is a card of money and also teamwork, it does kind of give me the impression that this might have to do with sort of people that you are working with. If you're, say, for instance, an independent business owner, you might find that a client or a firm that you are collaborating with might put forward terms that benefit them more than they benefit you. In other words, there's no balance there. And that may be something you've become aware of. Alternately, you might be Okay, a positive spin on these two cards could be that you are signing new contracts to work with new people. Maybe there's a project that you really wanted to work on with someone else, and maybe you're finally getting to. And I'm just going to tilt the camera a little bit so you can see all the cards. All right, great. Yeah, you might find that there is a project that you've been dreaming of, and suddenly you're offered that, or there is a collaboration opportunity. I'm getting a lot of brain fog, you guys. I feel like this eclipse season might have had you feeling quite foggy in the brain. If that's the case, hey, you're not alone. I've been pretty much the same way. I've been quite ill myself, so, but yeah, one thing that's changing for you due to this eclipse is unfair contracts or potentially new collaborations. Now, let's look at why this has changed for you. We have Justice in reverse. Yeah. And to clarify that, we have the Six of Pentacles. All right. Okay. So, again, a couple different interpretations. Number one, the reason you are being made aware of these unfair contracts is, well, because they are unfair, and also because there's more out there, there's better out there. You might find that you're being underpaid for the work you do, or that you can confidently ask for way more benefits from the people that are giving you benefits, I suppose. But with Justice in reverse, this is telling me that there's an imbalance. But do you see how in this card he's holding the scales of balance? Isn't that funny? Yeah, the reason this eclipse window has brought up these issues is because you're giving way more than you're receiving. Because do you see how this is the Three of Coins and this is the Six of Coins? It's like you've done your part. It's time for you to also receive in equal measures. This could very well apply to relationships as well, because relationships are collaborations, and you might find that friendships, connections that were unfair are starting to like fall away from your life. And you might be like, oh my gosh, this is awful. And, why is the universe taking away these people that I love so much? But it is purely because those were not balanced relationships. And if you look back at what you've given versus what you've received from these relationships that are falling apart, you'll come to see that it wasn't sustainable anyway, that one person was giving way too much and the other wasn't pulling their weight. And that does not a sustainable connection make. I'm sorry, there is no two ways about it. So, yeah, I think this eclipse season has really opened up a window into the imbalances in your life. Oh, I just had another message come through. This could potentially talk about a spiritual collaboration of some sort, where maybe you weren't someone who believed in things like spirit guides and higher entities that like to work with us, deities and that kind of thing, and you've realized that so much of life doesn't have to be on your shoulders. There's so much of life that you can sort of delegate to spirit guides and things like that. And because with the Six of Pentacles, this is a card of generosity. It's someone giving you way more than you've had before. So that to me kind of gives me the impression of maybe a spirit guide coming in, a new spirit guide potentially, angels, deities you might start to work with some, and yeah, maybe that's like a new collaboration that you might step into after these eclipse energies are over. Interesting. I did not expect that interpretation. But anyway, let's take a look at what you can look forward to once this transition is complete. We have the Queen of Coins in reverse. All right. And that's clarified by the Eight of Swords in reverse. Okay. So the Queen of Coins in reverse. This usually talks, so the Queen of Coins upright talks about, I'm just going to move this, it's bothering me. I'm like paranoid about the candle. The Queen of Coins in reverse, usually, the Queen of Coins is it's like earth and water energy. So this is someone who is emotionally stable and abundant. This is someone who is independently abundant. She has her own coin and she does things herself. To have this in reverse kind of really reiterates for me this idea of you don't have to do this alone. There's new collaborations coming through, be that in the physical world or spiritually, particularly when it comes to abundance, because there's a lot of coin cards. And with the Eight of Swords in reverse, this might result in you coming out of your shell and realizing that you can actually trust people around you, that not everyone is out there to give you unfair collaborations, unfair contracts, that there are people out there who will actually be for you. However, if you hold on to old partners and friends and business relationships that no longer serve you, you're still in that Eight of Swords energy of creating a wall around you, because it's that fear of like, if I leave this, what if there's nothing else out there? You know, why should I leave my comfort zone, even if it is quite uncomfortable? But you are stepping into this energy of not being quite so still, quite so fixed, quite so sort of stuck in your ways. If that applies. There is like a little bit of stubborn energy here, because there's a lot of earth energy. This is Capricorn energy, which, yeah, I know a Capricorn and they are stubborn, but I love them to bits. But yeah, like there's definitely a sort of reimagination of what it means to be abundant. So you're kind of redefining what wealth means to you, what success means to you, what stability means to you. And this definition involves a lot more movement, a lot more of like a dynamic way of life, and definitely a lot more coming out of your shell. And we have the Nine of Wands in reverse, clarified by the Nine of Swords. All right. Yeah, this is definitely going to bring up a lot of anxieties. That's not to say that you will forever be anxious about everything ever, but the Nine of Wands upright talks about having a challenge that you are fully equipped to deal with. Like there's a big mountain in front of you, but you know you are capable of climbing it. So to have that in reverse, clarified by the Nine of Swords, which is the mental anguish, the anxiety, stress card, tells me that because this is such a big paradigm shift, because you might have been someone who was quite hyper independent, and then you're now stepping into an energy of collaborations and working with other people, or also like asking for more than you have received. This is quite a big shift in things like your self-worth, your self-image, that sort of thing. And it of course will come with a lot of anxiety. So that's definitely something you're being cautioned to watch out for, because it's not real, right? Most of the times, anxiety, particularly when it comes to your self-worth, is not real. It is something you have learned at a very young age, or through hurtful experiences, whatever the case may be. They are not real. They are imaginations that your mind has come up with. And in that sense, it can kind of really catastrophize the way you think. And a lot of the times our past self really wants to try and survive, and it won't want change because change is never comfortable or fun. It is always it's always a death moment. I'm surprised the death card isn't here, but it's never fun, and that is perfectly normal. And I think the reason these two cards have come out today is to reassure you that this is par for the course. This is completely well within what's expected of this sort of a transformation. So it's not going to be anything completely out of left field. So you know to expect this. And you also know that this is an important step towards coming out of your comfort zone, towards the abundance that you deserve. Not because you work hard for it, not because you overgive, but because you exist. It's as simple as that. And that might be part of how you redefine abundance and success and that kind of thing, where your worth no longer comes from your productivity, but rather from your existence. Your very existence is worthy of being paid for, right? I know society doesn't like you to think that, but it's true, all right? I'm telling you now, it's true. So, with that said, let's take a look at some advice for you. We have transformation. There we go. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be a huge difference in not only how you see yourself, but also how you see the world. Because you might be coming from a place of putting people on pedestals a lot, or feeling like everyone has sort of an edge and you don't, or everyone has an advantage that you weren't given. And it's, in many cases that may objectively be true, but in many cases we kind of tend to assume that when we see other people's highlight reels and we don't get to see the entire story, we don't see their pain, their trauma, their issues, we sort of make up an image in our mind of, oh, my problems are the only problems in the world and no one else has any problems at all. And through this change, through this transformation, you might come to see that actually the world around me is made of me in a bunch of different costumes, in a bunch of different environments, and it's so strange. I feel like a sense of oneness with the entire universe. It's quite a beautiful feeling. And I feel like that's definitely something that's coming your way, Pile One. The feeling of unity, of feeling like there is nothing in this universe that isn't you. And you are connected to everyone and everything. And it's beautiful. Finally, let's take a look at an archetype of maybe something you're being called to embody, or a guide, a spirit guide that's coming in to work with you through this transformation. I'm not taking reversals. We have the fault line. This is a number, I want to say 49, but I also don't really know that many Roman numerals. But I do want to read this one from the book just because I'm starting to get familiar with this deck still. And I would very much like to give you the best information I possibly can. So, the fault line, the fissure, the crack, the weak link. Imagine walking across a frozen lake that begins to crack before your eyes. No matter how optimistic and brave you might be, panic ensues. You become fearful and tense and long for stable ground. Such is the energy of the fault line. It is the energy of walking on eggshells, of precarious dynamics, of sensing what is ready to break open into chaos. This card comes as a potent warning not to deny the shakiness that's afoot. It's much better to prepare yourself for the change than to walk along the fault line pretending all is well. Redefining reality, breaking open. What did I tell you? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do feel like you might be just completely redefining how you see the world and how you see the fabric of reality. But rest assured, this is an important transformation and it is going to be so, so worth it. Part one. So that's your reading for today. I hope that was fun, helpful. I hope it resonated. If it did, please remember to like and comment below. Subscribe to my channel for more readings. Thank you so, so much for spending some time with me today and sharing your energy and letting me do this reading for you. I truly hope it brought you some clarity and support. You can stick around to the outro for another reading. There's a tip jar in the description if you'd like to support my work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Pal 2, hello. If you chose this blue sodalite crystal, then welcome to your reading all about what's changing for you due to these couple of eclipses that we've just been through. We'll take a look at the oracles later, but the way I've arranged it is these first two cards will tell us what is changing for you. These two will tell us why, and then these four cards will tell us what you can look forward to once this transformation is complete. So, very interesting energy with pile 1, so let's see what pile 2 has for us. What's changing for you due to this eclipse window? We have the 3 of Cups in reverse, clarified by Death in reverse. All right. I was sort of expecting the Death card to show up somewhere. Okay. This is interesting because when I was shuffling your cards and tuning into your energy, pile 2, I almost felt excited and happy and jovial, but there was like a weird undercurrent to it as well. And it's starting to make sense to me right now because with the 3 of Cups in reverse and Death in reverse, it feels like the, you know that feeling when you're at a party and you know you're done, like you're done partying for the night and you really want to go home, but you don't want to essentially snub the hosts, so you stay longer than you should. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. You might be someone who quite enjoyed going out with friends and, you know, having a lot of fun and just living la vida loca, and now it's like you've defined yourself in that box and it feels like you don't want to be there anymore and you want to step away. And this eclipse season might have A, brought this to your attention, and B, made you feel stuck there, made you feel like it wasn't time to leave quite yet. There is something that, okay, alternately, there might be a situation where you are temporarily unhappy, right? Things aren't quite sunshine and rainbows. They aren't like popping champagne constantly. However, you haven't felt the pull to leave and you're questioning yourself. You're like, am I just staying because this is comfortable and familiar? Or am I staying because there's something here worth waiting for? Say now for a relationship of some sort. It could be a friendship, a familial relationship, a romantic relationship. You may be going through like a downbeat, like a few weeks during this eclipse season where you feel like things aren't quite flowing as easily as they were. Things are a little stagnant, things are a little upsetty, you know, all that kind of stuff. And you might be the kind that when things get to this stage, you're like, okay, I'm out. But there was something that kept you stuck here, and you've probably spent a lot of time wondering whether this was you being overly comfortable and not wanting to change, or if it was you truly feeling a sense of, you know, there is something here worth waiting for, and therefore I will wait and not walk away. Um, so it could apply it as it fits your scenario, but what's the change here? It's funny because I feel like there isn't a change. It's like a limbo. Perhaps this is the universe teaching you to be comfortable with not knowing what to do next, to be okay with staying in that void state for a bit while things move around, while things get, realigned for your highest good. Because a lot of the times we are so used to instant gratification that we tend to get impatient with life. And the world doesn't work like that. This three-dimensional world is lethargic. That's all it is. It is quite slow. It takes a while for it to, align everything so that what you want can come about. And I feel like the more we stick to things like TikTok and, fast-paced entertainment, it's mostly just brain rot, the less likely we are to cultivate patience. And patience is, in fact, a virtue. So that might be something that has come up for you this eclipse season. So let's take a look at why, because I don't really know if there's a change unless you're someone who is quite fast paced and then having to slow down has been the change, which it very well could be. Why though? We have the Three of Wands in reverse. Again, this message of staying home, of staying put, holding still, hold fast, stay steady right where you are. Clarified by the Eight of Pentacles. Dude, it's that thing of keep your head down and do your job. Because you might be craving big change. You might be craving lots of, new things. And you might be like, oh, why isn't this thing progressing? Why am I stuck in this situation when I can see so clearly where I want to go? But yeah, I do think patience might have been an issue for you, Pearl 2. Where you're so used to jumping from situation to situation, and suddenly, these last 3 weeks or so, you've had to hold still and just wait. And it is horrible. Trust me, I know. Okay, I'm a Aries Sun Sag rising, I know. But it feels like this is your opportunity to cultivate patience, because it might actually be a skill that you will probably need moving forward. There might be a situation that comes your way that requires you to exercise a lot of patience, and this is the universe of forcing you into a practice, so that when the time comes, you can apply your skill of patience. Yeah, it does feel like you've been purposefully held back for a good reason. It doesn't feel like, a lot of the times people are like, oh, you're being pulled back so you can be shot forward like an arrow. That's not what it is. It's like you've been in stasis and you've been put there very, very purposefully. It's not an accident, and it's not... Okay, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's a good thing you didn't end things with whatever your situation is. It's a good thing you didn't walk away. You are not just staying because of the comfort zone thing. There's a reason you're being called to wait and see how things play out. All right? Yeah. With the Eight of Pentacles as well. If this is to do with a career or just sort of the work you do and things being quite slow and dull and dreary there, completely intentional. The universe has something in store for you, something. We'll take a look at what's coming next, but it does feel like right now is just a time for you to put your head down, do your work, and just stay. And it's going to be so frustrating, and your challenge is to deal with the frustration in healthy ways. So with that said, let's take a look at what you can look forward to once this transformation is complete. We have the Ten of Swords, which is wonderful in this instance because it's action. It is an ending. Clarified by the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, it's not going to be quite this slow forever, because the Page of Pentacles is a very, very slow moving card, whereas the Ten of Swords is like, boom, ending. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it might be in the next 10 days from when you watch this that things start to pick up steam again, because swords energy to me is days and 10 days. But yeah, there's definitely an ending coming really quick, and it almost feels like it'll be made for you. It may not be what you wanted, I'm gonna be honest, but it is important. So that's not me saying, oh, you're gonna break up with someone. No, but it may be like I'm getting like a grudgy, like a grumbly image of someone like, oh, whatever. You know, it's like, so I do this a lot, right? When I have to be patient and I can't be patient, it's so frustrating, but I'm like forced to be patient. And then towards the end of it, the outcome is so wonderful that it's like the universe saying, see, I told you. And then I'm like, ugh, whatever. You know, I didn't, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. That's the kind of like, it's quite a pouty, childlike energy I'm feeling. So whatever this ending is, whatever this death moment is, that's not to say you're going to end your relationships or you're going to end your job, like leave your job or be fired or whatever. It almost feels like the ending you've been waiting for. And that doesn't have to be an ending to your situation, but an ending to how you feel about it. But whatever it is, because this is swords energy, it feels like this is more mental than it is in the physical world. But whatever this ending is, it's going to come really quickly. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, good, I'm free now. But this has been an important period for you to just sit tight. Because it's not that the universe isn't letting you move forward because it hates you or it doesn't want you to have the thing that you want or whatever. It doesn't want you to have freedom. No, none of that. This is just time for the universe to rearrange the world for you to have the best possible outcome. All right. Next, we have the Four of Coins. And that's clarified by the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think what you're going to realize is you're glad you didn't walk away from whatever it is you were trying to walk away from, because there is so much worth holding on to. There's so much here to be grateful for, and there's so much about this situation that makes you happy. That's why you're here in the first place. You wouldn't have stayed this long if there wasn't something worth holding on for. It's just that it was unbalanced. Okay, yeah, this might be the realization that the reason there was this feeling of like, ugh, I hate this, I hate where I am, I need to walk away from it. It might just be that it's unbalanced and you're being hit with clarity of like, actually, I don't want to throw away all that I've worked so hard for or that I've worked so hard for. I maybe need to tweak it a little bit to bring it into balance. Maybe it was just not quite as good as it could have been, but that doesn't mean I throw away something good, right? But overall, I feel like this entire transformation is more internal than it is external, because you'll see, like, there is no ending in the physical world. Like, you're ending up holding on to all the things that you already have. The ending card is a swords card. It's not a major arcana, it's a swords card, and the swords deals with the mind. So this ending is definitely more mental, because in the physical world, it's just work as usual. It's not like your friendships are changing. It's not like your world around you is changing. It's not like you're walking away from anything. You're just walking away from the need to run away from a situation the second things get a little bit dicey. And you're realizing that that's a very unbalanced way of thinking. And also that maybe the reason you wanted to walk away from something was because it was a little unbalanced. And once you bring your situation back into balance, you'll be good. Yeah, it's all good, pal 2. You're fine. You're doing okay. So let's take a look at some advice for you. We have, don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Oh, maybe that's the thing that's out of balance. Maybe the reason you feel the need to walk away is because you feel like you're not being seen, particularly if this has to do with like a friendship group or people that you go out and party with a lot. Maybe you've been changing how you are seen to try and fit into the crowd. And maybe that's the imbalance where you're not even sharing your truth. You're not sharing your innermost self. And so when people talk to you, they're not even really talking to you. They're talking to a version of you that you've projected onto them. And maybe that's a big change that's coming your way, which would be quite powerful. And finally, let's take a look at an archetype. Now, this could be a guide that might be working with you through this transformation, or it could be an energy you're being called to embody. I'm not taking reversals. We have the shapeshifter. What did we just talk about? Like trying to portray yourself to be someone else. And this is number 15, if that means anything to any of you guys watching. But you might be called to work with the energy of the shapeshifter. The trickster, the elusive, the formless. The shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is the side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. When the shapeshifter card appears, it is important to imagine you're looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focus lens. A single focus lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Dancing long-term with a shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. Vibrant, adaptive, humorous. So, you might be called to work with like a trickster deity, Loki, for instance, or something like the idea of, being a shapeshifter. That might be something worth exploring. Because in many ways, this reading has been a little bit about authenticity, because if, you've been trying to run away from situations the second they get a little bit messy, what does that tell you about how you see the world? What does that tell you about how you see yourself? And if you're starting to realize that deep down, actually, there's stuff you want to hold on to in this situation, just bring it into balance a little bit. What does that tell you about who you now are? Are you now stepping into an energy where you feel like you have things in your life worth holding on to, worth working hard for, worth working through the awkwardness and the the scary bits for. This is a very, very internal transformation, pal, too. And it's going to be so worth it. So, yeah, that's your reading for today, Paltu. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was very, very interesting. If this resonated and if you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Comment below how this resonated. But yeah, thanks so much for being here today and sharing your time and energy with me, letting me do this reading for you. I truly do hope it helped and it brought you some clarity and support. You can stick around to the outro for another reading on my channel. If you like what I do and would like to support me, there's a link to my PayPal tip jar down in the description. And yeah, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Pal number 3, hello. So if you picked this jade crystal, then this is your reading about what is changing due to this eclipse season. I'm going to be honest, your energy is feeling a little chaotic, okay? And that's fine. We're all chaotic sometimes. But when I was shuffling these cards, they were going everywhere. And when I was setting up for this reading, that candle was looking a little sus. So I did blow it out just because, it's glass and it's quite hot. And all of that wax has melted. It was making me a little nervous. So I did blow it out. I do apologize. We won't have a candle for you guys, but that's fine, it's no big. It wasn't like an intention candle, it's mostly just there for decoration. So let's take a look at what's changing for you this eclipse season. We'll take a look at the oracles in just a second. The way I've set it up is these cards will tell us what has changed due to these eclipses. These will tell us why this change was necessary. And then finally with these 4 cards, we'll take a look at what you can look forward to once this change is complete. All right, so without much further ado, I'm going to tell you guys to take a deep breath real quick. Center yourself, ground your energy, please. Yeah, all right, cool. So what has changed due to this eclipse season? We have the 6 of Swords in reverse. There we go, there's that chaos. And to clarify that, we have the 3 of Wands also in reverse. Okay. It feels like during the last couple of weeks, you may have planned a travel of some sort, a trip somewhere, or just you may have planned to move somewhere, and it feels like that plan has fallen through, and as a result, everything is chaotic. And trust me, I'm only too familiar with this feeling. It's awful when you make plans and they fall apart, and especially when it comes to like travel plans that fall apart, or like plans to move that fall apart, just because we sort of really flesh out our ideas of like what we're going to do once this big travel, this big journey is complete, and then it doesn't work and we have to stay home. And it's like, I didn't plan to stay home. I have all my stuff in suitcases. And it just feels like your energy is quite chaotic, because the 6 of Swords upright usually talks about moving into calmer waters. The 3 of Wands talks about looking out into the world, being excited about, making plans for the future. And we have both of these in reverse, where the 6 of Swords in reverse is not moving to calmer waters, staying in that turbulent chaos. And the 3 of Wands in reverse usually talks about staying put, being forced to stay exactly where you are. And yeah, quite frankly, it does feel like you're completely valid to be in a chaotic energy right now. So if that resonates, you guys, this is definitely your reading, and I feel like I don't really have much more insight to offer than just the situation. So let's take a look at why this change happened. we have the Lovers in reverse, and that's clarified by the Fool. Okay, beautiful. Both major arcana. So this is to do with your purpose. All right, first and foremost, let's just put that out there. This is this is not like a little random little trip. This was likely a big move that you were planning, or might have to do with the actual direction of your entire life. It might feel like that's in chaos. But with the Lovers in reverse, this kind of tells me that the reason this didn't work out is because it wasn't a good enough match for you. It wasn't meant for you, in the sense that on the surface, it may have seemed like a really good idea, whatever this voyage you were going to embark upon. I'm just going to talk in terms of a journey. You can apply this to a new business venture. You could apply this to a new relationship, moving house, moving to a different country, whatever works for you. I'm just going to talk about a journey. Whatever journey you were going to step into wasn't the right match, because this is Gemini energy. It's the energy of twins. And the thing about twins is they are identical. And in terms of the tarot, they are perfectly matched, and it's like, for instance, when you speak to someone and your surface level choices match perfectly, and you're like, oh, this is my soulmate. But then you go deeper and you're like, oh, actually, that was just the superficial stuff that matches. Deep down, we are very different people. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting, where it's like this opportunity seemed to be exactly what you were looking for, and it was perfect. And then if you had stepped into it, you'd have realized, oh, actually, this is a life ruiner. But the good news is this is clarified by the Fool. And the Fool famously indicates the start of a new journey, one that you may not see coming. And Pal 3, I feel like the imagery of this Fool card is quite significant, because the whole idea is, the reason he's the Fool is because he doesn't really know much yet. He's not got any wisdom yet. But also, he is just fully in his own world and not realizing that there's a cliff he's about to fall off of. This dog is literally like, bro, what are you doing? Like, there's a cliff, you're going to fall off. And he's like, nah, I don't really care. And that I'm not trying to say that you are being a fool, but it seems like you're going to fall into a whole entire, like, a whole new path, something that you did not see coming, that, like, has nothing to do with your current life. You're just going to sort of stumble into something that really puts you onto your life's path. So far, you may have thought that your life was meant to go one way, and then there's like a huge transformation coming that you're not seeing. It's like, oh, sorry, that was like my knuckles. It's like, the Fool to me is an Aquarius card, and Aquarius is the energy of like something otherworldly, something that has nothing to do with this physical reality. And so it feels like this massive change that's coming your way just out of nowhere, one that you don't see coming at all, and it just kind of like sweeps you off your feet and drops you off the edge of a cliff that you didn't even know was there. And suddenly your life is meaningful. Suddenly you are growing. Suddenly you are wiser. You are doing the thing that you were put on this planet to do. That's why this didn't work out. It's because whatever this journey was quite superficial. It was quite human. I don't know how else to explain it. It feels like Okay. It feels like the difference between having a matchmaker make a match for you versus finding your partner through divine intervention, where one is a very human thing where they look at all the superficial details between two people and be like, all right, they might get along, versus the other, the divine intervention, is when it's like these two souls are meant to be together in order to grow and evolve and, you know, hold each other through the different stages of life. There's a very significant difference. One is very human and basic, and the other is very, you know, what's the word? Mystical. Yeah, of course. So whatever this journey was quite superficial and quite human. Whereas the journey you're about to step onto is deeper. It's like, it's beautiful. It's powered by your soul. And if you had gone on this journey, you would have not so much missed the train, because, you know, whatever is meant for us is going to find us, whether we like it or not. But it almost feels like the universe has orchestrated the perfect situation for you right now. And for you to miss that would have been just a waste of everyone's time and energy. And so the universe was like, no, none of this. Look this way instead. We're going to just pick you up and plop. And now you're on your true path. So that's why. Wow. All right. Something massively profound is coming your way. Massively profound. So whatever this was, yes, absolutely mourn the loss of whatever this was, but understand that it was necessary because your soul's journey is more important. So let's take a look at what you can look forward to once this change is complete. We have the Queen of Swords, beautiful, clarified by the Six of Cups. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. This could literally be like a relationship thing, all right? But anyway, the Queen of Swords, legend. She's all about setting boundaries, cutting things out of your life that are not important or meaningful or for you. And she does not mess around. She does not waste time. And it almost feels like you've got sort of like a preview of this with this whole situation where it was like, you're not wasting time on something frivolous. Well, frivolous in the grand scheme of things, it may not be frivolous to you at all, but in the grand scheme of things, to the universe, this does feel like a diversion. Anyway, I'm going to stop putting words in the universe's mouth. The Queen of Swords, you're learning to cut things out that do not serve you and stop thinking from such like a narrow perspective. You're seeing all sides of an argument, if that makes sense. But to be clarified by the Six of Cups, the Six of Cups usually talks about reunions. It talks about people coming into your life that may have stepped away for a bit, but then they were brought back through divine intervention, through soul contracts, people from your past, potentially in this life or other lifetimes, which is what made me think of that relationship thing, because this could very well be soul family members entering your life. And in order to do that, you need to cut out old energies that are taking up valuable space, because the second you do that, the universe hates a vacuum. So the people that are meant to be in your life are going to come rushing in. But in order to hold that vacuum for them, you need to cut out stuff that doesn't serve you. And the best way to do that is chaos. Quite frankly, if I were in your situation, I would stop for a moment and actually give thanks for the chaos, because what does chaos do? It shakes things up, right? It uproots, that's the word I'm looking for. It uproots things that aren't deeply rooted enough, right? that aren't meant to be in your life, that aren't grounded and stable and just there for the long haul. And so this chaos is providing you with almost like a magnifying glass, where it's like, well, look at your life, look at your surroundings. Which of this feels aligned with your soul? Does any of it feel aligned with your soul? If not, it's time to start cutting things out. I'm not telling you to just completely isolate yourself. I would never do that. This is entirely up to like your discretion, obviously. But it does feel like things that are coming in to bring you happiness, to kind of refocus your energy towards what are things that align with my soul? What is my soul's purpose? What is my journey? What are things that are profound to me that I've been neglecting in favor of humanness, you know? And that's very, very interesting. What else do you have to look forward to? The Magician. Oh, it almost feels like the chaos has calmed you guys. I feel a lot calmer. And the Three of Pentacles. Beautiful. The Magician is a master manifester. This is the energy of someone who knows what they are doing. Let me just focus. There we go. Knows what they are doing, knows how to work with the laws of reality, with the laws of the universe, in order to get the desired results, essentially. They know how to work with the elements and manifest into physical reality the images they have in their mind. And that's clarified by the Three of Pentacles, which is the card all about collaborations, working with other people, fruitful collaborations at that. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. This is probably about the people you surround yourself with. Because the people in your life that do not feel nourishing to your soul might not be the ones you can keep around anymore. It's like they're being physically dragged out of your life. And in doing so, you are learning how to manifest better for yourself. You're learning how to manifest energies that are aligned to what actually makes you happy. And therefore, bringing in people who will collaborate with you on your soul's journey. This is giving me big time soul family vibes, you guys. I'm going to be honest. And it makes sense with the jade stone being green as like the heart chakra. It does feel like there's a big opening in your heart chakra. And you're coming to a point where you're realizing life will always be chaotic until you find the things and people that bring you peace. Because it's not easy to be a human being, right? And to do it out of alignment with what you were put here to do is doubly hard. Trust me. So what you can look forward to is very much a more aligned life where you are prioritizing connection. And that's not just connection to other people, but connection to your inner self, to the divine, whatever you believe in, connection to your purpose, connection to your heart space, to your emotions, to your innermost self. And that is beautiful, Part 3, because that's what we're here for. We're not here to mess around and play games. We're here to build our soul's journey. I don't even know if that made sense, but that's what came out. So we're going to stick with it. So finally, let's take a look at some advice that might help you through this change. We have break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. I definitely think you're doing a lot of rewriting the future right now because the future that you saw is physically being yanked away from you, and it's awful. It's so not fun because you're like, oh, I just got things figured out and now the rug's been pulled out. But this is a good thing because so far you've been working from a place of conditioning. You might see that there are patterns in your life that come from patterns in your parents' lives and their parents' lives and their parents' lives and so on and so forth. There are things you do and feel that are not your own. They are things that you have learned from previous generations. And this rerouting of your life right now is sort of pushing you to break that chain. It is pushing you to essentially heal certain patterns that have been in your bloodline for ages and ages and ages. And you're here to break that cycle. That might be part of your purpose that you discover. I've just kind of gone ahead and ruined the surprise. I'm sorry, Palfrey, but I feel like this is important for you to understand. It might be worth looking at the toxic influences in your life right now, and looking at the toxic influences in the lives of your parents, grandparents, whoever raised you, that kind of thing, and seeing if there's any repetitions there. That might make it easier to cut out certain aspects of your life that no longer serve you. And finally, let's take a look at an archetype that is either guiding you through this change, or an energy you're being called to embody that will help you work through this a lot easier. And we have the Mentor. Beautiful. This card has never come out for me from this deck. Not that I've had this deck very long, but that's beautiful. Owls might be significant, by the way. You might see owls a lot. Or Duolingo, the app, which if you're on Duolingo, we stay strong. Get that Spanish, bro. Okay, the Mentor, the teacher, the sage, the guru. It is said that cosmic knowledge pours down on the world like a great illuminated waterfall. This can be an overwhelming force. The true teacher, though, is said to be able to hold this flow of wisdom at bay while the student sips from a focused stream. The Mentor may appear aloof or available, harsh or tender, humorous or rigid. Their gift is to know what serves the soul. Ultimately, the Mentor is in service of the greater cosmic good and aids in the elevation of consciousness. Focused, clear, bright, remains a student. Keep in mind how easy it is to project power onto another. The expressions feet of clay and cult of personality exist for a reason. You might find that a mentor enters your life very soon. Or you might look back and look at your mentors and how they have affected the way you think and the way you see your life. So that might be something to look into. But yeah, dude, that's your reading, Palfrey. That was powerful. You're about to embark on a journey that it's gonna change who you are at the deepest levels, and this is wonderful news. So yeah, thank you so much for being here and sharing your energy with me, and I hope you're not feeling quite as chaotic anymore, because I am not, and that's great. But yeah, thanks so much for being here and letting me do this reading for you. I really do hope it brought you some support and clarity. If it did, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment below what's going on. Feel free to share as much as you like. If you like what I do and would like to support my work, there is a link to my tip jar down in the description. I would super appreciate your support. But in either case, you can stick around to the outro just after this for another reading on my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.